Hello everyone. What's up?
What's up?
What's going on?
this
Hello.
this trailer is so power packed. This is like, it's the adrenaline rush is like all over the place, and I am like, oh my god, अगर इतना action है, इतना कुछ हो रहा है, like trailer में तो पता नहीं show के अंदर क्या होने वाला है. So I mean, without a further delay, just give me the glimpse of all of your characters and what's happening. Who is hunting whom? Who is in search of whom?
So basically, I'm playing Divya, who's this small town girl who comes to a big city like Mumbai to fulfill her dreams, and she's a freelance journalist. And how, in the process of the story, she meets Anna's character, and together they are on a hunt. And as the character progresses, she turns out to be quite a gutsy girl. And it's been a really fun roller coaster ride playing Divya. So I think girls are going to love my character.
I'm sure.
Even I love your character, Isha.
I know. Both of y'all love my
I told
character.
Yeah, it's a very strong part.
Not
very,
only
very
the
strong.
girls, the boys are going to love it.
It's not like just a girl there for decoration. It's really a strong part. Very strong. So the name of the character is Hudda. He's Haryanvi. So the accent is Haryanvi. There's usage of that language. And it's a little colloquial. It's a little rugged. It's a little brashy. And then the game is between a one-upmanship between him and Anna's character, which is Vikram. So it's like a one-upmanship against each other as the story progresses. And then, of course, as the story progresses, you'll also get layers. Various layers step in, which you weren't really prepared for. So it has its own elements of surprise at different points in the story as the story progresses. So it's just not one surprise. So sometimes the surprise can be a bit of a shock also.
So I'm playing a cop as well in this, and his name is Sajid Sheikh. And when I was initially approached for this, it was basically he's the most dutiful cop. All of them are doing a duty, but his duty is also to tell Vikram not to get into trouble. So whenever
Ah,
Anna is getting into trouble, he's sort of like his wingman.
wow, wow. Cop dramas and action thrillers are something that, like, this genre is in the web space is like really picking up, right? And everyone
Right.
really enjoy watching this kind of shows because it has that thrills, right? Like, which it's very engaging. These contents are like really engaging. I want to know how different this one is from the rest of the kind of cop drama that we have watched so far.
I think this is definitely got action. It's a cop drama, is what y'all are seeing in the teaser and trailer. But there's lots more in this series. It's 8 episodes with lots more that's going to unfold. There's a very important subject that's been disclosed in this. And of course, the fact that there's a lot of nostalgia attached to this project with the songs, it's a different watch. It's definitely a different watch. Because I myself have recently been part of a cop drama, Rudra, great.
Rudra.
And now being part of this is very different for me to even, pick up a subject like this and do it. Is because it's very different from what I've just done. So it's going to be a very unique watch for you.
I think mostly what's very genuinely different about this project is that it's larger than life. One. So I mean, in the whole reality of scheme of things, when you're watching or say flipping channels from one to the other, the OTT is sort of proclaimed as a more real space.
Yeah.
Where stories are more believable, more real, and within themselves. But here it's like a very larger than John Wick, that space. The whole Sin City she had mentioned a little while back. So those are the kind of things as for reference, but with a very, very strong storyline. I mean, even if you look at the trailer, the large trailer, not the teaser, when he's telling about Vikram's telling about his life. I mean, there's a element to each bit of his life. On a personal front, there's Barkha's character, the wife, and there's a child. On the other front, where he's gone wrong, there are opponents, and the situation itself, in a way, it's a little wicked. And then getting caught in that web, and then in that chakravi of things, how the players come in, and each one is posing challenges, sometimes more,
Yeah.
sometimes less, sometimes
Mhm.
in tandem with each other, sometimes individualistically, sometimes brash and egoistical, sometimes conniving and that kind of. So it's got a lot of deceit. It's got a lot of grayish. I would say hinge to most of the characters. So for the audiences, what happens is that you tend to get hooked on to something like this. You can't take anything for granted. You can't just suddenly go and चलो यार मैं break ले लेता हूँ, phone पे एक बात कर लेता हूँ और ऐसे चलने दो. You will sort of miss. You'll have to be a little keen as a watcher to sort of flow with this.
I last time when I watched you in this film, that character was so interesting, right? Like even though again that was a thriller. I'm talking about Thursday. It was a thriller, but your performance it was so substantial, so interesting. Even though it was a Yami Gautam film, but it was like your character
Right.
was like it was so crucial. That was
Right.
a thriller. This one is a thriller. How do you look at this opportunity?
To be honest, if you look at, firstly, let me say this. I would like to add to Esha and Rahul sir's answer that, what is different. What I noticed personally is कि जब मैंने Amazon Mini TV खोला, तो मुझे जब मैं जितने भी इनके लाइनअप देख रहा था और जब ये आने वाला है 22nd को, it will look हटके. In the sense, the look and feel only is very, very it's larger than life, of course, but it's cinematically very like I'll tell you, there are a few directors who like using a certain tone for a thriller as well. Like जिसके अंदर जैसे Sin City थी, for example, और जैसे अभी Hunter है, तो उसमें बहुत crimson देखने को मिलेगा आपको, real action, real drama. But I think when you say about thrillers, I think that's the best part where it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Or so editing plays an important part. Performances have to be sharp, actions and the cinematography has to be sharp. So I think as an overall, it has to be a tight script. So ये सब रख के इन्होंने इतना कमाल किया है, तो I think that's going to be very interesting for people to watch. And if you miss something, अगर फोन पे चले भी गए, जैसे राहुल सर ने कहा, अगर कोई जा नहीं सकता, अगर चले भी गए तो रिपीट करके जरूर देख लेना, because you don't want to miss the little bit of Easter eggs in it.
Yeah. One shouldn't miss out on any puzzle to finally reach to that conclusion where we are gonna reach, like in the last episode probably of the show.
Amen.
And Isha, this is something that I would like to talk about, right? Like, it's always a delight to watch you on screen, especially when you are doing some action, because your screen presence is such where it's that rare combination of strength and grace. Like, you are a dancer, you have that grace of a dancer, but at the same time, you are a sportsman. So, like, when you hold the gun, we know that, you are gonna shoot. Like, you have that. Is it something like you are keeping in mind or strategizing because during the launch of the trailer you said that I just feel like this is like my second innings because I want to do good roles, and after having a career in Bollywood and having babies and coming back to the business, I'm going to be very, very choosy. So is that something you're going to keep in mind? How you are strategizing now?
I mean, to be honest, it's something that I really enjoy. I enjoy doing action. I don't know whether it's the adrenaline junkie in me that's loving it, or it's the sportsman in me that's loving it, or being a fitness freak. I've always been someone who expresses in a more physical way than through words. And I mean, I kind of do identify with such characters. For some reason, maybe it's in my DNA. The body language just fits. So I know that when I hold a gun and I point it, there's no way I can go wrong and not shoot the target. Exactly. And I really, really genuinely enjoy it. Besides that, I've also trained in kickboxing for over the years, and recently I started training in non-combat.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
so I've
wait, wait.
told
So,
you,
so basically football, kickboxing, and like wow.
football is something that I took passion to when I was in school. I played it for 7 years,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that
That's
was
what
my
I'm saying.
foundation. Yeah, sort of my base to being athletic and being into sports, or then carrying it on towards doing regular workouts. I mean, I'm an Odissi dancer, so that is part of me growing up. I've been learned. So I think what you grow up with shapes you into the kind of personality you are today, and I automatically take to such things. So I'm definitely looking at doing such meaty roles, and by the grace of God I am getting such work, and it is my second innings, and I'm happy to be back and working with some wonderful talent in our industry today.
Is one thing I want to know from all of you, because Sunil was saying that how he is so enthusiastic about actions, and he said कि like मैं ऐसे action करूंगा कि लोगों को लगेगा कि एक 25 साल का लड़का भी सोचेगा कि भाई ऐसे action कैसे कर लिया at the age of 60. I want to know, like, how was it working with him, like, the kind of role that he is doing in this one, the action and everything. How exciting was it for you guys to work with him?
Infectious is the word which comes to mind.
Ah,
His whole energy and his whole enthusiasm is really, really infectious. And it just rubs onto just not you as a colleague or a co-star or somebody who really admires him. It just rubs off onto the energy of the entire set in terms of it pushes the people to work harder, like the director, the production people to sort of, for example, I'll tell you the songs which got added later on, which is of course thanks to Saregama and the rich archives that they have. They it really adds so much more depth, to the narrative, I feel. Because one, these are just legendary songs. I mean, they're just the golden years of singing or music rather. And to have numbers from there, which are like extraordinary numbers, fitting into situations which when you're trying to tell a story, that itself is incredible. I would reckon that's like a sort of act of God, to sort of reinforce something like that and, make it even better for the viewer, even sounding better for the viewer. I mean, anyway, and, so it's a very unique sort of content, which is not only larger than life. I don't see any other, like, I've had a fair amount of releases over the last 3 years or 4 years. I've been lucky enough to be part of maybe at least a dozen really good jobs. I mean, likes of Nikhil Advani, likes of all
yeah.
good makers,
Yes.
and taking nothing from anyone away. Uh, this is a very 90s, 2000 larger than life, but the writing and the depth in terms of the way the characters are is very contemporary to today. So it's a very heady mix between both things. And I think for that, Anna is responsible in a large way because he was literally leading that whole ship from the front.
It seems you are quite excited to reunite with the band. So tell me, like, how was it like?
Yeah, I mean, it's always lovely working with Anna, and to reunite with him also again after a while. Like, we've done films like Dust and Cash, which are also action films, and we had long outdoors out of the country. So we really know each other very well. And of course, today, over the years, to reunite and work with him, and it's very comforting. It's really lovely having the chance to work with him again. And as far as his action is concerned, I think he's the most coolest and calmest. You don't even know he's shooting an action scene because
Wow.
he's so cool, and he doesn't make it a big deal कि मैं action कर रहा हूँ आज या मैं push-ups मार के आ रहा हूँ and all that. I mean, he's very cool, and the way he's so sleek in his action. And if you see this show, which you have to see and you will see, he's got a certain characteristic and a mannerism to the way he's done action in this. So it's very different. He's, there's a certain way he's done it, and he's maintained that through his character, which is really, for me, it was something to learn Because for me, action doing, okay, we are shooting rifles and punching and hitting, but there is, even in that, there is he tweaks it, he brings his own
Oh.
style to it, keeping the character in mind, which was something that I really loved noticing and observing him on the set.